So all therapists reduce emotional pain. That's what we do in therapy. You don't have to come to this workshop to be working on reducing emotional pain. You do this all the time and very successfully. So this workshop is a little bit more about the how. How does emotional pain manifest itself? Scientifically, what do we know about it? And what do we know about the strategies that can reduce it? So we're looking at it as an internal, involuntary behaviour. And there are some interesting things. We know about the brain science of it, some fMRI studies. We also know that it can occur across emotions, so it's not unique to emotions like sadness. You can, for example, have painful joy, and we know a little bit more about when that's likely to occur. We also know about emotional pain that it's highly correlated with completed suicide, that in suicide note research, escape from emotional pain is the most high reason given across those completed suicides. So we do need to be onto emotional pain communication. What does that look like? My own research was about emotional pain communication from suicidal clients, and in particular how they often feel as though the clinician imagines they are hearing it, but they're giving the message that they haven't heard it, or we're missing the mark. And what clients told us is an indication of missing the mark of their emotional pain, even when therapists think that they are responding. So that's interesting to find out. The other thing that we will be talking about is how emotional pain, tracking emotional pain with your client, can help direct you to where your work needs to go. So let me give you an example. Let's say that you have a client who's an adult client and she has always felt that she is inferior to her brother. And it has a real effect on her self-esteem, and you've done some work on that. You've done some work on how she sees herself, how she devalues her accomplishments, how she has comparison thoughts with her brother, and it's not really shifting. There's still something there. So you ask her to track the peak of the pain experience, and she tells you there's been a family party recently and her brother turned up, and when he got there, I guess she'd been there before him, and when he got to the door, she had a bit of a heart sink moment, you know, oh, he's arrived, that kind of, oh, here he is, life and soul of the party. And it was a heart sink, but it wasn't painful. And then throughout the course of the day, I mean, she chatted with him. She didn't dislike him. It's not that she dislikes him. She just kind of feels inferior to him. And he's chatting with some other people, and he's obviously charming them. And she's annoyed. It's kind of annoying in the anger family, annoyance, but it's not really painful. And then at one point in the proceedings, she looks across at him and she only sees the back of his head, and she sees these people that he's talking to, and again has that slight stab of annoyance that they're obviously entranced with what he's saying. But then she looks across at her mother, and her mother, like her, can only see the back of her brother's head, but she notices a moment of stillness in her mother, and then she notices a look of pride on her mother's face, and then she gets that real pain. So now we know we are going to have to do some work on how she handles her mother's responses to her brother. Now, we know we can do that. We know if we can find a distinct trigger to an emotional pain experience, we can bring it down, and we've got some really effective strategies for doing that. I've been working in emotional pain research and writing about emotional pain for, well, my first article was 2001 in the Counselling and Psychotherapy Journal, so I am a bit of a nerd on this. But I hope that you will still join us, because it's going to be a really interesting and fascinating day, and we will look at our clinical material with some fresh eyes to do with emotional pain. So I hope to see you there. Looking forward to it. Bye.